Okay, hello and welcome to this video. We are going to talk about the railroad screwing us again, folks. That's right. And you may say, oh, concrete ties. This sounds great. They've been dragging this out for a while. They said they were going to replace concrete ties to Bethpage. They only did a very small section. And now they're replacing the tracks between Hicksville and Amon interlocking, which is somewhere in Syosset, I believe. So, what this means is that we have reduced mainline service this weekend. And that is a problem because we have a marathon going on in the city. All right, so there are going to be a lot of people that are going to need to get to the city, and guess where they're going to go? They're going to go to the South Shore where they can get frequent service, which is going to hurt our communities even further. So we went through 3 years of hell, and we've already had how many 4 weekends this fall already with reduced mainline service? So it says right here, you see the sign. Weekend trains run every hour between Penn Station and Huntington, and every 2 hours between Huntington and Port Jefferson. And so you're basically going to have hourly service on the main line, which is not the time for this. All right, so if we look at our schedules here, mainline track work, Divide, Amont, TLM. That's what it says. All right, so if we go to the Ronkonkoma line, you'll see only hourly service, and it'll only be to Penn Station. It says here. That's what it is. So you have heavily reduced service, only hourly service on the Ronkonkoma line instead of every half an hour. This is going to be a huge mess with the marathon going on in the city. A huge mess. And you're going to have overcrowding. But again, people are going to know the deal already. They've been conditioned already to go to the South Shore, all right? The railroad has not released branch-by-branch ridership recovery since the pandemic, and I really would like to see that data because I have a feeling the Babylon branch ridership has gone way up while the main line is stagnant because people have been conditioned to go to the South Shore. And this is just part of it. It really is. Here we go again. So this is the Port Jefferson branch track work timetable. So you can see here hourly service on all the Huntington line stations. That means all the local main line stations too are only going to get hourly service. And we'll have half hourly service in Neola because we'll have the Ronkonkoma train and the Port Jefferson train as well as Hicksville. But your train service is basically cut in half. And for the folks on the Port Jefferson line, well, yeah, you're going to have to wait. You have a train every 2 hours, which is really a mess. All right. But I find this very interesting here because we scroll down here and say 88 Copec stations. So there's going to be reduced service on the Babylon branch next weekend. But it's interesting that there are semi-expresses. So they don't always have hourly service. There will be semi-expresses that will run. So if you take a look at the morning, for instance, this is next weekend, not this upcoming, not this weekend. You'll see they'll have hourly service, but see, they have some semi-expresses that'll run. So how come they can have the semi-expresses run when they're single tracking between Massapequa and Babylon, but yet we have to have hourly service when they're single tracking over a much shorter distance? I just find that really interesting. So they get to have their little semi-expresses because, after all, it's the South Shore, and those semi-expresses connect up with those Montauk trains. Again, important people live there, so they get to have, even though their service is reduced, it's not reduced like it is on the main line. And so, I'm just showing you the schedules, just going over the Babylon schedule, and you'll see they're not stuck with hourlies. Look at all the service they get compared to Ronkonkoma this weekend. I mean, it's just so obvious what's going on. It really is. So, I want to play for you this video here from News 12. I am pleasantly surprised. They actually covered this. And Charlton from Passengers United was featured in this video as well. So we're going to play this video. I am really pleasantly surprised. News 12 actually did their job and actually covered this.
For anyone looking to cheer on runners for this weekend's New York City Marathon, track work on the LIRR and subway closures could cause a headache out there. Our John Dowding in Hicksville now with some advice from transportation advocates. John, good evening.
Hey, good evening to you, Joe. And it all starts here. Track work near Hicksville calls all LIRR branches to be on a special schedule this coming weekend, just in time for the marathon. But that's not the only issue. Subway service in the city as well on several lines will have changes this weekend as well. So pack your patience if you're traveling into the city for the marathon, because there's obviously going to be an influx of riders, just as there's a bunch of changes to the schedule. And transportation advocates say, though, the decision by the MTA to do this work this weekend is ridiculous.
the railroad should provide adequate service. In fact, there should actually be more service on Marathon Sunday to accommodate all the runners going in the morning and then coming back in the evening from the city.
And advocates also say to be able to, one, look at the PDF special schedules. They say those are more accurate than the apps sometimes because, in their opinion, they say that the apps may not always be the most accurate. Also, leave extra early just to prevent any issues you may run into. We'll have more details about all the different changes on the different branches here on our website, news12.com. Live tonight in Hicksville, I'm John Dowding, News 12, Long Island.
So I'm surprised you didn't say go to the South Shore, but I'm sure that the railroad might say that. So when we go to the railroad's website, you'll see. I don't even think they have a tweet about this. I mean, their Twitter. They don't have even a tweet about this. And there was a problem on the Ronkonkoma line this morning as well. I meant this evening because of somebody that was struck on the tracks, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't see anything about this here. Oh, here we go. This Saturday, Sunday, trains between Ronkonkoma and Manhattan will run at hourly intervals due to traffic work. All daytime trains will operate to and from Penn Station. So we won't have any service to Grand Central. This weekend, daytime trains between Penn and Huntington will run at hourly intervals due to track work. Trains between Huntington and Port Jeff will run at 2-hourly intervals. And so they say this Saturday, Sunday, trains are on all due to switch work, of course. So now they're saying switch work. So I don't know if it's just what they're doing exactly. They're not really being clear with exactly what they're doing, but they've been doing this switch work in the area of Hicksville for a while. I'm going to show you where this is so you get an idea of where it is here. So Hicksville's over here, and they're doing the switch work and the concrete tie. Now, they were supposed to replace... Basically, they were replacing... See, this is already concrete, this side. I know this is not a new image. This side is wood, so they were replacing this track here. This is what the railroad was shut. This is why we have reduced service for 4 weekends earlier this fall to replace this short distance of track here between Old Country Road and 4 weekends for this. Just this short. It seems like they're just dragging it out just to screw us. All right. And now what they're going to do is they're going to replace. Let's see. We have some wood tracks over here, so they're going to replace these tracks here supposedly between here and Amont, which is Amont Interlocking, which I think is all the way up in Syosset somewhere. It's all the way up over here. I don't think they're going to do this whole stretch this one weekend, which means this is going to be dragged out among more weekends. Who knows how many weekends we're going to have. So, again, they said, oh, you went through 3 years of hell, so now you're going to have your half-hourly service. And now they're taking it away to do this track work. Why didn't they do it when we were shut down all those weekends? They just love screwing us here on the main line. It's like they enjoy it. They actually enjoy doing this to us. They take great pleasure in doing this to us. All right? So basically going to have a single track, I guess, between Hicksville and Syosset. Though when you think about it, somehow they can run half-hourly service at certain times on the Babylon branch for those semi-expresses when they have a single track between Massapequa and Babylon, but yet they can't do it on the main line. And let's just say hypothetically, right, they had to run hourly, so whatever. If this is AMA, why is this affecting the Ronkonkoma line? Why is the Ronkonkoma line only at at hourly intervals? Are they doing track work here? And let's just say, all right, they're doing track work through Hicksville, whatever. We can't run any more service through Hicksville. You know, there is a siding here. They could still run half-hourly service from this siding, from Westbury at least. Or they could run trains up to East Williston and run half-hourly service there. But no, they don't do that because we're not important. The message here, and they conditioned people, and this is why places, and this is why the main line is suffering, the middle of the island is suffering. They want to condition people to go to the South Shore so their businesses do great. They get all the commerce, and we just become a ghost town. And that's the damage that's been done. The 3 years of this has really hurt Mineola and a lot of the other towns, and a lot of businesses just can't make it because we're not getting the people from the train like we used to. And then they make cuts in the service when the new schedules come out, as you know, November, November 13th, they're going to have more Ronkonkoma trains skip Mineola, 36 of them, 37 of them each day, Saturday and Sunday. That's only going to hurt us. People are going to go to other stations. They're going to say, screw this. We're going to go to the Babylon Bridge. Let's go and catch the train at Rockville Center. I know it's Zone 7 versus Zone 4. I know that. Zone 4 is cheaper, but still, you can go to Rockville Center, and also you can go to Belmore. And guess what? Parking is free in Belmore. You don't have to pay for parking. So you might as well just go there. I mean, during the weekends. Might as well just go there. And that's what people are going to do. They're going to go to the South Shore. And so their businesses are going to do well, and our businesses are just going to suffer. And just look at the Babylon branch this weekend. So they're going to look at all the service they're getting this weekend. I mean, just look at this. I mean, it's so obvious what's going on here. I mean, they're getting 3 trains an hour on the Babylon branch. Well, the Ronkonkoma line only gets 1 train an hour. And people are going to know that. They're going to go to the South Shore. And this is just very damaging to us. And it's so obvious what's going on. The discrimination at this railroad continues, even though we have Rob Free as our president. He still doesn't want to go against the Wall Street machine. Phil Eng did, and he got forced out. They're only going to make sure that their kind on the South Shore get the best. Well, we get screwed time and time again, and this is just all part of it. It really is. And look, I support the state of good repair, track work, but the timing was terrible to do it this weekend with the marathon. All the business that the businesses on the main line, by the train stations are going to get, well, they're not going to get that business anymore. They're not going to get that business anymore. And this will lead into one of the things I saw on the News 12 website here. It says here, and of course they barely covered it, Remo's Deli in Newark Park to close after 42 years. So this is what's going on. Businesses are closing. This is not a desirable area for people to want to do business or even live. So he said he is selling his deli to new owners. So to see if it's actually going to become, and we don't know what kind of deli it's going to become. It may become the kind of deli that I have on the corner, which is really not a deli. It's more like a bodega, because that's what's happening in the middle of the island. But that's a whole nother thing. I don't want to go off the rails here too much. But again, so this weekend, you're going to have hourly service. And if you want to have more avoid crowding and have a better experience, go to the South Shore. That's where everybody else will be, on the South Shore. Well, here it will be a ghost town with the tumbleweeds just blowing by. So just because, hey, those people on the South Shore, they're really important. See how the nice clothes they dress. They work on Wall Street. They're very important people. Whereas the people like, I'm so sorry, we don't count. It's so obvious what's going on. It is discrimination. It is illegal, and that's why I have to continue to speak up about it. I cannot be silent about this discrimination. It's absolutely an outrage. That's it.